Well, former ANC MP and whistleblower Andrew Feinstein says there's enough evidence to secure a conviction against the former president. Feinstein resigned as a member of parliament in 2001 in protest at the governing party's refusal to allow an unfettered investigation into the arms deal that he says was tainted by allegations of high-level corruption.
There is an enormous amount of evidence. With over 16 years' experience of looking at corruption in the defense sector, I think that this particular instance is one in which there is a plethora of evidence. And I think that's also reflected in the fact that Schabir Shaik was found guilty of corrupting Jacob Zuma in relation to the same transaction and was sentenced to 15 years in jail, a verdict that was reaffirmed on 3 occasions by higher courts. But to come back to the notorious encrypted fax, this was a fax that was sent to Schabir Shaik and Jacob Zuma from a senior executive in the French company, in which they stated that everything was now in order and that the first payment of R500,000 would be made into an agreed nominated account that had been identified by Shaik and Zuma on the 21st of January 2001. Put together with the evidence of a series of meetings that were held between Shaik and the company, and also between Zuma himself and the company, this is really damning evidence. And I think, again, given the verdict in the Shaik case, it's going to be extremely difficult for Jacob Zuma's defense team to argue this mountain of evidence away. Then Mbeki's political allies were effectively free of investigation, and his political rivals, particularly Jacob Zuma, were targeted. However, the fact that a number of other people might also be guilty of corruption in a transaction and were not adequately investigated is no defense for somebody who was guilty of corruption in that same transaction. I think that the argument that all of those who received bribes should be investigated and should face due legal process is absolutely correct.